Part 213. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2121. Fang Fan curled his lips, always feeling that he had bumped into Penkai. You, who do you say is a child? Fairy Liulai in a plain white robe heard Fang Fan's words at this moment, and immediately stood up with her head held high, with an expression of disbelief on her face. In Beiwa Palace, the senior sisters have always liked to treat her as a child. After all, she is the youngest junior sister. Now that it's outside, it's still the same. How can Fairy Liulai bear it? Most importantly, she felt that Fang Fan was younger than him. Fang Fan looked helpless when he saw that the woman was still swearing to give up. As for this, but seeing the Liulai fairy in front of him, Fang Fan couldn't help thinking of Xiao Xiao, who was still cultivating in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. The tempers of these two people seem to be a bit alike. He has his own little temper, but under normal circumstances, he looks soft and weak. Thinking of this, the smiles on the corners of Fang Fan's mouth involuntarily became more and more frequent, his eyes flickered, all kinds of thoughts gathered, and his feelings were extremely deep. With this in mind, Fang Fan couldn't help showing a sincere smile. You, what are you laughing at? Are you planning some bad idea? My senior sister, although my senior sister made a mistake, but the crime is not worthy of death. It's not good for you to be like this anyway. Or you can let my senior sister go. Everyone is also the examiner of the third-class sanctuary. Although you are infatuated with Teacher Murong, I have heard from the senior sisters that you are the face of Teacher Murong, and you are tortured by Teacher Murong every day. Everyone is suffering. This Liulai fairy has a small mouth, and she is really good at talking. As we spoke, things started to go wrong. Fang Fan heard it, and frowned silently. What the hell, is there such a thing as detrimental? Wave after wave. What kind of trouble do you want to make? Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, and his face turned darker and darker. Ding! A special female slave physique has been detected. Now release the task, the third female slave position. Mission introduction. The Liulai fairy in front of me has a special physique, a pure mind, a very high cultivation talent, and has the qualifications to become a female slave. Please the host capture her heart and let him agree to become the host's female slave. Task time limit, 1 month. Mission reward, open the third female slave position. Mission failed, automatically cancel the special effect of a female slave. Remarks, this system deeply feels the host's thoughts and mentality of wanting to eat soft food, and specially adds various female slave tasks. As the strongest supplier in history, it is natural to have several female slaves to serve. The special effect of the third female slave position, automatically get a card that matches the level of the host every day, and get a card that is 1 level higher than the host every month. Note, it cannot be a blank card, a waste card. Fang Fan. The dog system doesn't know if it's been too much time recently, and it always likes to arrange these fancy tasks. At this moment, Fang Fan's inner desire to complain is extremely strong. This wave after wave, what kind of trouble do you want to make? Take a female slave at every turn. Starting from Schwelling, this is the third one. Fang Fan wanted to reject it in his heart. He has always felt that he is a very upright person, and he has always had a repulsive attitude towards female slaves and non-female slaves. But the effect of the number 3 female slave position. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2122. Accept the mission. Fang Fan let out a breath of foul air secretly. It smells so good. The special effect of the third female slave position, automatically get a card that matches the level of the host every day, and get a card that is 1 level higher than the host every month. Note, it cannot be a blank card, a waste card. The effect of the third female slave position is to automatically superimpose cards. How can this make Fang Fan not excited? In other words, once the effect of this female slave position is activated, according to Fang Fan's current cultivation base, he can get a quasi-holy card every day, and a holy card every month. The fun of opening a card has suddenly been upgraded to several levels. More importantly, this wave is going to take off. At this moment, I am already in the quasi-sacred realm, and I am only a step away from the holy realm. If you break through to the holy realm, doesn't it mean that you can get a holy card every day, and get a card with a higher level every month, the holy level? Call. Fang Fan breathed out indifferently. The miraculous effect of this female slave position is really more fragrant. Sometimes Fang Fan really can't be blamed for half-heartedness, it's just forced by the situation. Fang Fan originally wanted to drive these people away, but he didn't want to mess with them. It's just that now, since you want to accept someone as a slave girl, you must have basic communication. Fang Fan squirmed his mouth, and the corners of his mouth twitched silently. You. As soon as he opened his mouth, Fang Fan found it difficult to say what he said next. The key is what to say at this moment. Tell this Liuli fairy in front of you directly, would you like to be my slave girl? Speaking of opening the second female slave position, it was really a matter of luck. If Murong Yu hadn't been drugged suddenly at the beginning, and then they entered the small world of Shushan Pavilion at the same time and turned upside down, it is not sure how things will develop afterwards. But now the facts are right in front of your eyes, why do you forcefully ask? It doesn't seem quite right either. You, why are you staring at me like that? You don't really want to do something perverted, do you? Shameless. Dirty. Despicable. Senior sister, let's go. There is nothing to talk to this kind of person. When Fairy Liuli spoke, she hurried away and left. Fang Fan opened his mouth, wanting to stop, but he didn't know why. There is still a month's time limit for this mission. Continuing to win a little slave girl in a month is a long way to go. Fang Fan sighed with emotion, and then subconsciously rubbed Xueling's lowly head angrily. Recently, I don't know whether it's because of a change in my hobbies or because I'm under too much pressure. I always like to kill Xueling by touching her head. What are you doing? Let me go. Shame on you. After I go back, I will definitely expose your shameless behavior with my wives. It's been less than half a month since you left the holy city of light. You've provoked several women. You are too shameless. How can you look like this? Just now you looked at that Liuli fairy's eyes, but did you fall in love again? Gosh! Are you Alexander Dumas? Xueling muttered, and made complaints while talking. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. Did this little slave girl rebel? Even the master dared to point fingers. I set my heart to the bright moon. But the bright moon shines on the ditch. Who knows my helplessness? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2123. Fang Fan's emotion is very strong, he is often the one who has been wronged. He is really too difficult. However, the spiritual energy in this elite dormitory is quite comfortable for cultivation. Now that Xiao Xiao and those little girls are not around, he can still take care of a wave of mythical beasts. I have been clamoring to eat braised pixie meat before, so one can imagine Fang Fan's strong hatred for this guy. It's just a state of itching with hatred. Even the melon seeds in the head are bursting. Fang Fan took a deep breath, the corners of his mouth twitched wildly, and his eyes flickered intermittently. Come over. Come here. Today we have revenge for revenge, and revenge for grudges. Before I swallowed so many star cores and all kinds of treasures, I should pay some price now. Fang Fan took a deep breath, and while talking, he stretched out his hand and directly pulled the Pixie beast over. Ah! Ah! You don't touch me. I am a person who is protected by a big brother. My big brother is so strong. Pixie said with a proud face while fluttering in Fang Fan's arms. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. This mythical beast is getting more and more beautiful now. It's useless even if you call your ancestor here today. Who told you to commit suicide? Since you have chosen the path of death, you should pay the price you deserve. Fang Fan's face was dark. Looking at the big mouth of Pixie, he really wanted to give him a big mouth. Brother! Brother! Ah! Pixie felt the malicious look in Fang Fan's eyes, and immediately began to pounce. While talking, the sound of roaring was vividly displayed. Cough! Boy Fang Fan, can you do me a favor? Little Pixie and I hit it off right away, we've already made obeisance. Bai Piao coughed a few times, then rushed over from the side, his eyes flickered as he spoke. This guy knew at a glance that there were all kinds of random thoughts in his head. Fang Fan was a little taken aback. The relationship between these two guys is so good now. All the tricks? Fang Fan glanced at the arrogant look of the mythical Pixie, and kicked it out angrily. Boom! The Pixie mythical beast directly ate a piece of dog shit, looking rather embarrassed. Brother Bai Piao, haven't you ever eaten braised Pixie meat? This is a great tonic, delicious, even more beautiful than dragon meat. If it is baked on the flame for 77-49 hours, the juice will be slowly extracted, and one bite will make you feel ecstatic. And it is said that Pixie can communicate with the gods, which helps to gather the godhead and ignite the divine fire. Hey, forget it, Brother Bai Piao and the mythical beast have a very good relationship, since they have already made obeisances. For the sake of Brother Bai Piao, I won't make any plans for him. As for condensing the godhead or something, forget it. Fang Fan waved his hand and said regretfully. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised silently, showing an indifferent look. But now it's Bai Piao's turn to be impatient. Condensed godhead? Ignite the divine fire? This is exactly what he wanted. Although the gods gave him invincible defense, but his longevity is flawed. If he can't condense the godhead within 100 years, maybe he will really be completely cold. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2124. This. Actually. Brother Pixie is so big, it doesn't hurt the taste at all. While talking, Bai Piao licked his lips and said. In just an instant, Bai Piao changed his position. The so-called begging for the handle is actually begging for loneliness. Plastic brotherhood. The mythical Pixie panicked for a moment. I thought I had found a backer for myself, but now it seems that I am thinking too much. If you follow this trend, you will have to follow the calf directly every minute. Owner. Little Pixie is wrong. Little Pixie is the most obedient. Xiaoxio is showing off to you. The mythical Pixie suddenly acted coquettishly and cutely, and its plump body also writhed. Fang Fan took a deep breath, and subconsciously twitched the corner of his mouth. This guy is also a genius. There is indeed something in this wave after wave of operations. Invincible. This shamelessness is exactly the same as Bai Piao. It's not impossible to forgive you. You have to do something for me. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. Seeing the appearance of the mythical beast, he suddenly had a whim. Do something. What's the meaning? The mythical Pixie jumped up and down, then subconsciously shrunk its chubby body, as if wanting to keep it as clean as jade. Fang Fan glanced at this guy. Can you stop being so funny? This guy's mind just seems a little out of control. Did you see the woman in the plain white robe who came over just now? It's the Liuli fairy from Beiwa Palace. Turn around, you used to be coquettish and cute, or play tricks, you have to have a good relationship with her. Don't talk too much at the beginning, building a good relationship is the theme. You are a mature Pixiu, and it's time to take on such a heavy responsibility. Fang Fan said one by one. In order to be able to open the third female slave position, Fang Fan has worked hard. In order to enjoy the joy of opening a card every day in the future, Fang Fan felt that he still had to hold on for a while. I knew it. I knew you boy was going to harm a good woman again. It doesn't make sense. The number of women you have provoked is 80 if not 100. Can you make sense of it? See, God is not as rough as you. You belong to the category of Neptune. While Bai Piao was talking, he silently complained at the side, the desire to complain is so strong at this moment. While talking, the melon seeds in my head burst with buzzing. Master, you are shameless. Being your God's favor is a shame in my life. Pixiu also followed suit. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched. Am I now a public enemy? Even start to despise my own god pet? I'm so. You know, a hammer. Fang Fan's face suddenly darkened, the sound of inhaling was extremely strong, and the desire to complain suddenly broke out. Am I not doing this to increase my combat power? Why open the third female slave position? Of course, it is for daily card authorization. The rare cards that will be released at that time are also to increase their own power. Fang Fan breathed out a breath of turbidity silently. In fact, great people always need to be questioned. Fang Fan is very clear about this. The world laughs at me for being crazy, and I laugh at the world's inability to see through. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2125. In the end, the Pixiu mythical beast was still entrusted with a heavy responsibility by Fang Fan, and he went to the Beiwa Palace to start acting coquettishly, acting cute and rolling around. If you want to open the third female slave position, you must at least establish a good relationship with her first. As for coercion, it was naturally impossible for Fang Fan to do so. At that time, it is completely possible to negotiate peacefully. Fang Fan's eyes flickered. At that time, he only needs to get stuck in a wave of bugs and go through a cutscene with the dog system. In the past few days, the harvest is naturally there. Because of the mythical beast, Fang Fan successfully met the Liuli fairy from Beiwa Palace twice. However, the relationship between them is still in the Cold War stage. Tomorrow is the assessment day. Are you ready? Even I am not qualified to perform such an assessment. With your cultivation and combat power, it's not a big problem to become a student from the outer palace, but if you want to become a student from the inner palace, you're still a little too far away. Murong Yu, the third-rank red-clothed Archbishop of the Temple of the Bright Alliance and the first-level tutor of the Bright Academy, came to Fang Fan's room overnight, mainly to talk about tomorrow's assessment. Don't worry, I have my own measure. By the way, is the first-level tutor of your institution so idle? Is there still time to run to me? Fang Fan stretched, then complained silently. Murong Yu opened his mouth, and then rolled his eyes. How? Does that mean you don't want me to come? Am I disturbing you? That's right, how busy our hall master Fang Fan is. There is also a weak little slave girl serving at home, and there is a Liuli fairy from Beiwa Palace outside. Tisk tisk tisk, how interesting are those? All of them are full of youthful vigor. Now start to dislike me. That's not what it means. By the way, you are really willing to work hard in order to pursue that fairy Liuli from Beiwa Palace. I heard that even your god pet is dragged out to act coquettishly. Shameless. While talking, Mirongyu glared at Fang Fan angrily, feeling quite disgusted in his heart. She doesn't know why, but she always likes to inquire about these things, and the more she listens, the more uncomfortable she feels, and the noisy feeling in her heart is vividly displayed. That kind of aggrieved feeling gathered in my mind, and I was completely trapped in it. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, listening to Mirongyu rambling here. A wicked smile suddenly appeared on the corner of his mouth. Mr. Mirong pays a lot of attention to my private life. I don't know if teacher Mirong is teaching me as a school tutor, or as a little slave girl to warn her master. Or, simply want to be jealous. While Fang Fan was speaking, he silently bullied him. You let me go. Mirongyu's face was blushing, and his eyes were dodging. Tomorrow, you have to take the assessment tomorrow. You have to recharge your batteries tonight. We can't do this. Mirongyu took a deep breath, obviously still retaining the last sliver of reason. Oh. Forget it. Fang Fan nodded, then silently let go. Mirongyu's beautiful eyes widened, and he gave Fang Fan an annoyed look. This teasing, and then left? I think a proper combination of work and rest is still necessary. Mirongyu exhaled like blue, and suddenly counterattacked. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2126. Fang Fan took advantage of the situation and prepared to dodge, but because he was too careless, he didn't dodge, and he didn't expect this woman to be so fierce. Women don't talk about Wyud. In terms of individual combat power, Fang Fan is a peak quasi-sacred realm cultivator. Even with the special effects of the number 2 female slave plus a level of combat power, he can still display a 1-star sacred realm combat power. Even if you finally gather the combat power of all the heroes, it will be difficult to break through the level of 4-star sanctuary combat power. Obviously, this is not a level battle at all. Fang Fan silently condensed his eyes, and various thoughts burst out in his mind. Staying here will only show strong women and weak men. Fang Fan took a deep breath, and then directly brought Mirongyu to the small world of Shushan Pavilion. After some twists and turns, the next morning, Mirongyu left with a rosy face, and Fang Fan's complexion was more or less pale. I have to admit that there is indeed a physical gap. The physique of the supreme quasi-sacred realm is more or less weak. There was a burst of shouting outside today, which seemed quite lively. The long-awaited assessment of Guangming Academy has officially begun. This assessment is a moment of fate for many people. Is it possible to become a member of Guangming Academy in one go, or just stay silent and miss out on Guangming Academy? If there is a chance to study in Guangming Academy for a period of time and return to their respective sanctuaries, it will basically take off. Even if it is just a place for a foreign student, it is extremely precious. On the square of Guangming Academy, countless practitioners gathered. These are the proud sons of the young generation of the major sanctuaries. It's just that coming here seems ordinary. Because there are so many geniuses. At a glance, it is the past, and the practitioners below the realm of high-level quasi-sages account for less than half of them. Most of them are high-level quasi-sages and above. My lord, I have already investigated. There are hundreds of third-class sanctuaries, and each third-class sanctuary sends about 2,000 examiners, so there are 200,000 examiners from third-class sanctuaries. The actual number compared with the second-class sanctuary and the first-class sanctuary, they are already very few, and their combat effectiveness is generally not very high. 9 second-rank sanctuaries. Each second-rank sanctuary has excluded about 50,000 examiners, so there are nearly 500,000 examiners from the 9 second-rank sanctuaries. As for the examiners from the various forces in the first-class sanctuary, the Sky Sanctuary, there are also 500,000. The total number of people has reached 1.2 million. Students from the outer palace have a pass rate of about 1%, and students from the inner palace have even reached a pass rate of 1 in 1,000. Galen walked around, and then followed up and said, "This is the current specific form and situation." Fang Fan nodded secretly. He had already understood most of these situations before. In the assessment, people must be selected layer by layer, there is no doubt about this. It is said that there will be some changes in the content of each assessment, and I don't know what it will change this time. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised silently, and he really had some sense of anticipation at this moment. After completing the relevant assessment and successfully becoming a student of the inner palace of the Guangming Academy, you can return to the Temple of the Light Alliance in the Qingtian Sanctuary, get the priesthood of the Quasi-Sage, and then complete the later goal requirements of the series of tasks of Latent Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2127. It is really not easy to travel all the way. This guy Bai Biao also rushed over at this moment, yelling that he would also participate in the assessment. I wonder if your bone age has been faked. It stands to reason that you have already surpassed the bone age of 1,000 years old, but all places can be unimpeded. While Fang Fan was talking, his eyes flickered intermittently. It was like this in the ruins of the gods before, but when Bai Biao first entered the ruins of the gods, it seemed that he was indeed punished because of the bone age limit. Humph. In the endless heavens, is there a place that the envoy cannot reach? As long as this divine envoy is willing, none of these things will happen. Bai Biao held his head high and his chest high, with a vigorous posture. I think it's better for you not to bother. In case your old bones are crippled by tossing, I have to collect your body. You said you can't relax a little bit? Why do you take part in the assessment and want to enter Guangming Academy? And don't forget, you are only strong in defense, and your attack power is the 5 scum of war. Are you sure you can pass the test? Fang Fan looked at Bai Biao for a while, and then asked. It can't be confused at all. There must be a road before the car reaches the mountain. It's really not going to happen at that time, isn't there still you? Fang Fan boy, you have the most ways, and you will definitely let me join Guangming Academy. That's right. You must let me become a student of the inner palace of Guangming Academy. It's really impossible, let your lover who is a first-level tutor help me. That's a true saint-level powerhouse, and a first-level tutor of the academy. While talking, Bai Biao had a flowery smile on his face. Is this guy co-authoring this idea? Tell me honestly, what is the purpose of becoming a student at the academy? You're not the kind of person who likes to be restrained. Fang Fan glanced at Bai Biao, and then wanted to know more about it. Hey. This Guangming Academy was established by a genuine first-class Temple of the Light Alliance. In the academy, there are even powerful men in the semi-divine realm. Naturally, they are extraordinary in every aspect, and cannot be simply described. I suspect that there must be a stored godhead inside the academy. If you can find it. While Bai Biao was talking, his eyes became brighter. Fang Fan fell silent. Bai Biao told him once before that because of the problem of longevity, he needs to obtain the godhead to extend his life earlier. Previously, he had obtained 1/3 of the godheads in the ruins of the gods, but because of attribute conflicts, Bai Biao couldn't merge at all. Now things continue back to square one. Bai Biao's desire to win the godhead still seemed so strong. Fang Fan's thoughts moved slightly, and then he nodded silently, which was regarded as approval. If you really find the godhead, I will help you. Never act alone. This is the Guangming Academy. You said it yourself. There are also powerful men in the demigod realm. If you are not careful, you may lose everything. Fang Fan took a deep breath, and at this moment, no matter what, hold on for a while before talking. After all, you can only talk about other things if you save your life first. Bai Piao nodded silently, knowing Fang Fan's intentions in his heart. Playing around with each other is just playing around. If something serious happens, then each other is the best partner. There is no doubt about this. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2128. While Fang Fan and Bai Piao were talking, a woman in white clothes danced from a distance. At the moment, in her arms, she is holding a miniature version of Pixiu. This Pixiu is naturally the mythical Pixiu under Fang Fan's command. As for the woman holding Pixiu, she is also the Liulai fairy of Beiwa Palace that Fang Fan focuses on, and she is also the active character of the number 3 female slave position. At this moment, the Liulai fairy came rushing forward on her own initiative. Fang Fan was quite surprised. Could it be that in the past few days, this mythical beast has taken her down by acting coquettishly and cutely? Young Master Fang Fan is fine. Fairy Liulai was very polite, but the coldness on her face was very real. And why does Fairy Liulai have the time to come to me? Fang Fan shrugged and said calmly. Bai Piao at the side saw that Fang Fan was talking. He laughed and left directly, which seemed quite sensible. I already know that this Pixiu is the favorite of Mr. Fang Fan. Leaving aside what you did to little Pixiu before, I hope Mr. Fang Fan can let him go for the sake of little Pixiu's physical and mental health and future. I'm willing to spend a lot of money to buy the little Pixiu, so how about the redemption fee for the little Pixiu? Little Pixiu is also a life. And it is still a life with intelligence. It is not food that can be abused or even devoured at will. I also hope that Mr. Fang Fan can base himself on kindness. Liulai Fairy was chattering, and Fang Fan's head buzzed and buzzed. What the hell is going on? Is this for questioning? According to what this woman means, she wants to redeem the mythical beast. Glancing at Pixiu's aggrieved face as he rested his head on Liulai Fairy's chest, Fang Fan probably figured out something. The ghost knows how this mythical beast arranges him. Master, it's not me, not what I want to say. I didn't mean to say that you were going to cook me into braised Pixiu meat, and I didn't want to say that you didn't give me enough food to eat, starved me, and sent me to force me to pick up girls for you. Really, it has nothing to do with me. Will you Master, don't be angry, Xiaoxia won't dare anymore. From now on, Xiaoxia will just stay by your side. It doesn't matter if you don't have enough food or clothing. Xiaoxia still likes to stay by Master's side very much. Master, you, don't make me into braised Pixiu meat, don't be angry, it's all Xiaoxia's fault. Don't blame Sister Liulai, Sister Liulai is very nice. Let me bear all the crimes alone. Owner. While talking, Pixiu became more and more aggrieved. I don't know who I learned this white lotus posture from. Fang Fan took a deep breath and resisted the urge to run away. This is so, can it still work? Did Pixiu ascend to heaven? This Pixiu mythical beast is so special. Green tea. He is simply a master of tea art. The combination of a tea art master and a white lotus, if this is a woman who grew up in the harem, she will be a popular candidate for the palace fighting champion. Who taught you these words? With a dark face, Fang Fan glanced at Pai Yao, and at the same time at Bai Piao, who was not far away. He always felt that these two guys were working together. Originally, Fang Fan wanted to ask Pixiu to help him establish relationships, but now seeing Liulai Fairy like this, it is completely mysterious. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2129. Master, no one taught me, Xiaoxia will never dare again. While talking, Pixia lowered its head cowardly, completely showing its shameless, despicable, shameless, treacherous, greedy, green tea and white lotus gesture to the fullest. This Pixia beast has really become a spirit. Don't scold little Pixia. He's so pitiful. You, how do you want to torture him? I didn't expect you to be such a person. You actually want to let your pet pick up girls for you. I have never seen such a despicable and shameless person like you. Fairy Liulai of Beiwa Palace spoke confidently while speaking. The posture of this picture is vividly displayed. Fang Fan opened his mouth, and now he is at fault. There is even a feeling of being speechless. Don't listen to one side and believe one side, this Pixio is lying. There is no truth in this guy's mouth. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched, and then he sighed silently. Snored. You said he lied, which sentence did he lie? You men, don't you just think about those things? Do you really think I don't know? You clearly look like this. Indecent and despicable. You, don't you just want to pick me up? Want to conquer me? Want me to be your woman? I've seen it through. Fairy Liulai gritted her teeth as she spoke. Fang Fan let out a breath of foul air silently. Even if he had 10 mouths, he seemed to be unable to speak clearly, and no one would believe what he said or did. I don't want you to be my woman, I never had this idea, I just simply want you to be my slave girl. Fang Fan curled his lips and said sincerely. Shameless. Nasty. Despicable. Who do you take me for? You just die of this heart. Impossible in this life. If you force me, I will kill myself. Little Pixiu, let's go. Follow me from now on, don't run after this shameless bastard. While talking, Liulai Fairy picked up the miniature version of the soft and cute Pixiu and was about to leave. The Pixiu mythical beast has completely rebelled now, and it also jumped up and down to follow. Little Pixiu, you'd better think clearly. Don't come back hungry and call the master. Also, Liulai Fairy, I have to remind you, you can't afford this Pixiu. Fang Fan smiled indifferently, looking very calm. Pixiu's devouring ability determines that he needs a lot of energy to maintain his own activities. The trophies that Fang Fan got before were basically devoured by him. Moreover, the spoils captured by Fang Fan are not small, because he also encountered many battles. That's how it is, so that it can barely afford to raise this little Pixiu. Even if it is so, this mythical Pixiu will go outside to steal it. It is conceivable that Fairy Liulai's wealth would be completely empty after a few days of raising her. The mythical Pixiu, who was originally at ease, immediately jumped 3 feet high upon hearing this. There are always people who better than you. No matter how cunning he is, this door of life is in Fang Fan's hands. Pixiu turned his eyes, and then secretly walked towards Fang Fan's position a few times. Sister Liulai, or forget it? I think the master is actually okay with me. I also can't bear to let the master be alone. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2130. Pixia God Beast rolled its eyeballs, while talking, then backed out immediately, its eyes flickering intermittently. This guy's head is indeed a bit gloomy. Even if the tea is full of tea, you still have to bow your head to the food in the end. Little Pixiu, what's wrong with you? Are you afraid that I won't be able to support you? Don't worry, I have a lot of star cores here, more than enough to support you. Fairy Liulai said confidently. Then Sister Liulai, how many star cores do you have in your hand? Pixiu's eyes rolled, Obviously he was still hesitating at the moment. This guy really played go to the extreme. Less than 1 million low-grade star cores, probably, about 7 or 8 million low-grade star cores. Don't worry, I promise I won't make you hungry. Liuli Fairy wanted to say something more, but at this moment, the mythical Pixiu had already evacuated with lightning speed. Farewell. Before leaving, there was a farewell. Originally, I thought that this wave might fall in love with a rich woman, but I didn't expect this to be it. That's it? 7 or 8 million low-grade star cores. Is it enough for him to eat for 3 days? Too little, too little. The mythical beast Pixiu continued to return to Fang Fan's side cowardly, and the signature tail began to sway wildly from side to side. This was no longer the so-called mythical beast Pixiu, but a pug's posture was vividly displayed. Owner! Owner! The mythical Pixiu screamed sweetly a few times. Fang Fan took a deep breath. This little Pixiu is too cunning. The originally good little slave girl plan was messed up by this guy. Fang Fan got angry and directly kicked this guy's buttocks, kicking him like a shit, and even pulled out his whip to reprimand him. This guy saw Fang Fan's attack momentum, and immediately started to run away. Kill Pixiu! Brother! Brother by Biao! Help me, help me! There was a hysterical roar, and Fang Fan felt his scalp go numb for a while. If you have a chance, you must set up a good pot and enjoy a meal of braised Pixiu meat to relieve your anger. The Liuli Fairy of Beiwa Palace not far away fell into endless ignorance at this moment. She didn't know what happened. How did she become like this? This is too different from what she expected, right? She originally thought that she was here to rescue the little Pixiu, but now, what is the meaning of this little Pixiu now? Asked a wave how many star cores she had on her body, and then ran away. 7 or 800,000 star cores, are they very few? Just look down on it like that. Just so no cards. As for this, can it work? Can you save me a little bit? At her age, with a net worth of 700,000 to 800,000 low-grade star cores, she is already very strong, right? Fairy Liuli inexplicably felt a little wronged. Did you see it? This Pixiu has such a lacking disposition. So don't worry too much about it. What he said just now is completely belittling me. You also saw that if I really wanted to kill him for meat, why would he just run back to die? I treat him very well on weekdays. Under normal circumstances, at least 1.8 million low-grade star cores are consumed every day to absorb energy and maintain the energy balance of the body. It doesn't matter if I eat less myself, I just can't starve my battle pet.